and your ice cream frozen, but allow you to lower your utility bills. And the way they're going to do that is they're going to start understanding the refrigerator, and I know that Whirlpool is already doing this, GE is already doing this, they're already moving into their next generation of refrigerators, and next generation, I mean like next year, putting in the control abilities to do this, where they'll understand, the refrigerator will understand, you've got a compressor in the refrigerator, you've got a defrost cycle, you've got a ice maker cycle, and you've got sweat tapes. I didn't even know you had sweat tapes until I talked to this Whirlpool guy the other day. I didn't know my refrigerator sweated, but apparently you've got these tapes that prevent your refrigerator from sweating as well. There's 4 different types of loads in a refrigerator. All those can be controlled independently. All those can be used independently for different purposes. First of all, you don't want all 4 of them to come on at one time. And you certainly don't want all 4 of them to come on during your peak. There's no reason that you should be making ice or defrosting your freezer during Rogers' peak load. And, if you did it off-peak, Rogers should be paying you to move that load off-peak. And ultimately, you'll be able to do that. And you also should have the ability to have the grid operator control your freezer to say, well, gee, let's crank it up a couple degrees at night where it's not going to bother anything, but we can store it a little bit more by doing that. In fact, I found out the other day, amazing statistic, there is more storage in the water heaters in this country than there is in all the pump storage in the entire country. So we have the ability, if we can start controlling appliances, if we can start controlling the things in our house in ways that, again, are going to take this kind of sentient knowledge that Roger's talking about, because nobody's going to sit there with their iPhone all day doing that. Nobody's going to want to do that. You're going to have the ability to do it through pre-programmed ways that will say, look, I want the lowest rate, or I want the highest comfort, or I want, all kinds of choices you're going to have through the competition that Barry's given you, that competitive system. You're ultimately going to be able to control your costs, control your loads, and we'll be able to operate the grid system better so we can give you more green energy. That's all going to be able to happen and come together, I think, in one way, through something called a smart grid. And when we have a smart grid and we put all these things together, ultimately, really all we're talking about is the ability to enable two-way flows of information and power. If we can do that, and we can do that in a market system, and it needs to be a market system, then we can all make this work together in ways that I think we can really get to where we want to go to improve our whole system and ultimately have the vision of the future for our electric system so we can have a better economy, we can have a cleaner economy, and we can leave it to our children. Thank you.